He looked like a superhero. 7 feet tall, elite physique. Naval officer discipline. But David Robinson did not lead with intimidation. He led with character. Character sustains greatness longer than aggression. He entered the NBA older than most rookies because he honored commitment first. Service before spotlight. That alone built internal discipline. Discipline creates structure. Structure builds consistency. Consistency builds trust. He didn't rush into the league. He prepared. Preparation builds maturity. Maturity under pressure wins games. He could dominate physically, but he chose control. Control separates strength from chaos. Many powerful players rely on force. Force fades when resistance increases. Control adapts. Adaptability sustains dominance. He developed footwork, face-up moves, mid-range touch. He expanded beyond raw power. Expansion builds versatility. Versatility builds longevity. He didn't chase headlines. He chased standards. Standards build culture. Culture builds championships. He carried the Spurs through losing seasons, through roster changes, through playoff disappointments. Disappointment tests identity. Identity rooted in ego collapses. Identity rooted in principle stabilizes. He stayed grounded. Grounded confidence is unshakable. He was competitive, but composed. He didn't explode emotionally. He executed methodically. Methodical execution overwhelms defenders. He blocked shots without celebrating wildly. He rebounded without showmanship. He scored without arrogance. Humility disarms opponents. Disarmed opponents hesitate. Hesitation creates openings. He endured playoff heartbreak. Repeated exits. Repeated criticism. Criticism can corrode belief or reinforce it. He reinforced his. He didn't abandon discipline. He refined it. Refinement creates evolution. Evolution builds championship windows. When Tim Duncan arrived, everything changed. Many stars would have resisted, resented, protected ego. He embraced it. Embracing partnership builds dynasty. Ego divides. Unity multiplies. He stepped back when needed. He stepped forward when required. Leadership is situational. Situational awareness is intelligence. Intelligence wins long-term. He didn't need to be the face every night. He needed to win. Winning was the mission. Mission-driven athletes sustain focus. Focus builds habits. Habits create excellence. He anchored defense. Defense requires sacrifice. Sacrifice builds trust. Trust builds chemistry. Chemistry builds rings. And when the championship finally came, it wasn't explosive. It was earned. Earned through patience, through discipline, through humility. He didn't dominate through fear. He dominated through steadiness. Steadiness under pressure stabilizes teams. He played with power under control. Power under control is dangerous. Uncontrolled power burns out. Controlled power lasts. Now internalize this. You do not need arrogance to dominate. You need discipline. You do not need noise to lead. You need steadiness. You do not need to chase spotlight. You need to protect standards. Say this internally. I lead with discipline. I control my strength. I stay grounded under pressure. I embrace partnership. I build patiently. I refine after failure. I anchor my team. I value standards over ego. Because strength under control creates legacy, and humility with dominance builds championships. Your mindset is your edge. Greatness is not always loud. Sometimes it is disciplined restraint. David Robinson had every physical tool to dominate selfishly. 7 feet tall, elite agility, explosive strength. He could have chased scoring titles endlessly, but he understood something rare. Dominance is not just production, it is impact. Impact requires perspective. Perspective requires humility. Humility is strength under control. He had military discipline before he had NBA fame. Military discipline teaches structure. Structure builds consistency. Consistency builds trust. Trust sustains legacy. He didn't rely on emotion to fuel him. He relied on principle. Principle stabilizes performance. Emotion fluctuates. Principle remains. That is why even during playoff failures, he did not fracture. He refined. Refinement requires accountability. He didn't blame teammates. He didn't blame systems. He examined himself first. Self-examination builds growth. Growth compounds over time. Compounded growth builds championships. Now understand this. There were years when critics said he was too nice, too calm, too reserved. But calm is not weakness. Calm is control. Control under pressure sustains leadership. Loud leaders burn hot and fade. Steady leaders endure. Endurance builds dynasties. When Tim Duncan arrived, the spotlight shifted. Many stars would have resisted. Many would have felt threatened. Threat perception reveals insecurity. Security allows collaboration. He chose collaboration. Collaboration multiplies power. He did not protect ego. He protected culture. Culture wins more than talent. Talent without culture collapses. Culture with talent dominates. He stepped into mentorship. Mentorship extends legacy. Legacy is not just what you accomplish. It is what you enable. He enabled Duncan. He enabled growth. He enabled championship mindset within the franchise. That is real leadership. Leadership is sacrifice without resentment. Resentment poisons chemistry. Chemistry wins rings. He was dominant defensively. Defense requires anticipation. Anticipation requires awareness. Awareness requires focus. He studied positioning. He understood angles. He didn't just jump to block shots. He timed them. Timing beats force. Force fades with age. Timing evolves. As he aged, he relied more on intelligence than athleticism. Intelligence sustains greatness. Athleticism peaks. Discipline extends peak. He played through frustration without public collapse. Because composure protects identity. Identity protected sustains consistency. Consistency builds reputation. Reputation builds influence. Influence builds stability. He did not allow personal accolades to distort mission. Scoring titles meant little without rings. Stats are temporary. Standards are permanent. He valued standard over spotlight. That is rare. Rare builds respect. Respect builds trust. Trust builds longevity. Now internalize the deeper lesson. Strength is not loud aggression. Strength is disciplined control. Power is not intimidation. Power is consistency. Leadership is not dominance of ego. Leadership is elevation of others. Patience is not weakness. Patience is long-term vision. Say this internally now. I choose discipline over ego. I choose principle over emotion. I choose collaboration over insecurity. I refine after setbacks. I protect culture. I lead steadily. I use power responsibly. I value long-term legacy. I stay grounded in success. Because dominance without humility collapses. But dominance with discipline endures. Strength under control builds championships. And my mindset is my edge.